Hello everyone, how's it going? I hope you're doing okay. In this video, I'm going to talk about my journey with Premiere Pro. Now, recently, a few months back, I started editing videos, and when I began my journey, I had a host of video editing softwares to consider, and I looked through them all. I did my own little research, but at the end of the day, I decided to go ahead with Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, even though you have to pay, it's not a free software, so you have to pay monthly subscription or an annual subscription. To get access to Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro, on the other hand, is also slow. It has a few bugs. It's buggy and it crashes frequently. But having said that, at the end of the day, it does remain the best in class editing software. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here, considering that this would be the first video that I upload to this YouTube channel. Now, I already have another YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check that out. But this one is more related to video editing and videography. Uh, a few months have passed since I've been doing this, and I'm by no means an expert in this. But one thing that I really one realization rather that I came to was the fact that if you want to become better at editing, if you want to be more efficient at editing, you need a ton of practice. Now, unfortunately, with my schedule and with all the things going on in my life, I was not getting enough time to shoot and edit videos. So I figured, hey, as I continue on this journey of learning, why not, take this as an opportunity to upload some educational content, and it will give me some practice as well as maybe, it'll give me a chance to put some content out for you guys as well. So enough said with that. In this video, let's jump straight to it. I'm going to talk about 5 things that I've learned in Premiere Pro that you should do, and these things will help you immensely. Without further ado, let's get into it. Adjustment layers. Now, adjustment layers are something that I've used a lot to keep my sequences more and more efficient and clutter free. Now, you would have seen one of those fast edits in which editor uses multiple clips, shortcuts, and he tries to convey a story. Now, often what happens is all of these different clips requires some sort of color correction and color grading probably. Now, it is extremely inefficient to have to do this separately on several clips. Now, that is where Premiere gives you the option of using an adjustment layer. It's just a transparent layer that you can apply effects on like any other layer, but it does save you a bunch of time. Now, let me give you an example. So I have 3 different short clips here on my timeline. They're all basically shot at the same location, however shot at different times of the day, not entirely different times of the day, but enough for the weather to change just a little bit in terms of how it affects the lighting. Now, ideally, I would want to apply the same color correction on all of them so that they kind of look similar. Instead of having to do that on all the 3 different clips, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here into my Premiere Pro. I'll click new item, adjustment layer, select my resolution. I'm going to leave it at that. This is my 30 frames per second. That's fine. Aspect ratio 1 is to 1 is fine as well. I'm going to hit OK. Now take this adjustment layer, drag it onto a video layer above your clips, expand it out. Now let me get rid of all these extra spaces. All right, there you go. Make it slightly big so that you can see. So now we have 3 clips here, and we can up anything that you now apply on adjustment layer applies to all these different clips. So let's say we select the adjustment layer, we go to the Lumetri color panel, and let's just do some basic correction here. So let's see now all these 3 different clips. We probably want to reduce the exposure a little bit here. It's too bright, and the temperature. Now, I remember it being a pretty cold day, even though the sun was out. So I'm going to reduce the temperature a little bit, and I'm further going to go into creative and probably just choose a LUT. How about this? This is too bad. Maybe something simple, 2395. Yeah, gives a little cinematic feel to the entire sequence, and yes, it looks good, and everything applies to all the 3 layers. Now let's go back to the editing panel here, and let me show you one thing quickly. Now if you decide that one particular clip here, let's say this guy here, you don't want to apply the effects in the adjustment layer to this guy, all you have to do is you can move it up. This adjustment layer only applies to clips below in the timeline. There you go. So this is looking much better now. All right, moving on. All right, guys. So now let's talk about blur. Blur is something that we often add to our videos to make it a little more realistic. In this section, I'm going to talk about how you can add a blur into the background, but not into your subject. So let's look at this picture here in our timeline. Right, I'm standing here in front of this restaurant, which, by the way, I should point out is the world's highest restaurant, disputably. Uh, Now, what if I want to add a bit of blur into the background but not into the subject? That's pretty easy, although laborious. Takes a little bit of manual effort in Premiere Pro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this clip here and paste it onto one of the tracks above. So I'm going to paste it onto V2 here. So I hit Control V. So now I have two different clips in two different video tracks for the same thing. Let me select the one at the bottom, which is going to disable that for a moment and work on the top one. I have to isolate the subject and then put a blur into the rest of the background. I can do that quite easily. I have the upper clip selected, go into Effect Control, go into Opacity here, select the pen tool, or you could, like in this case, you could even go for the rectangle and just put a rectangular mask over the subject. But I'm gonna go for the pen tool and just try to be a little more accurate. Let me draw a mask here, rough mask. Now I have to say, at this point that, in terms of creating a mask, the more effort you put into it, the better the result. So it's really a question of, tracking your subject properly throughout the entire clip. So now there you go. I have this mask here. I'm just gonna make sure. Now you have to make sure that this mask remains for the entirety of the clip. So if the subject is moving, you have to update the mask. So this essentially means that this mask needs to be, properly set in each and every frame. Now Premiere Pro is very good at detecting things like faces and sometimes even, human bodies. Not entirely accurately, but it does a fairly good job of tracking the subject for you. So what I'm going to do here is, with this mask created for the first frame, I'm just going to go here into Opacity, Mask Path, and click this button, Track Selective Mask Forward. Now what it's going to do is it's going to track this mask for the entirety of the clip, so for each and every frame. And once it has done that, we can take a look at that and adjust the mask wherever it is needed. This is a still image, so this is going to be perfect here. But if you have a moving shot where the subject is moving, it might need a little bit of tweaking, in the sense that you have to go each and every frame and make sure that if the mask is out of place somewhere, just bring it back and just adjust it a little bit. This tracking takes a fair bit of time, but since this is a very short clip, it's done. Now you can actually go over it and you can just make sure that the mask is in fact proper. If the subject is moving, you might see that the mask is out of place, and then in that case, all you have to do is the point at which it appears to be not ideal, just adjust the mask, bring it back. Once you've done this, you've pretty much isolated your subject for the entirety of the clip. Now you can introduce a blur in the background. So now we have this mask over the subject. The rest of the area is blacked out. If you go into the mask under opacity, just select inverted. And what that does is it brings into focus the rest of the area and masks out the subject. This is perfect. Now we can simply go into our effects, choose our blur that we want to go for. So I'm going to go for, let's say, Gaussian blur in this case. I'm going to drag it onto the top clip, go down into the effects panel, choose how much blurriness I want. So let's say I want to go for 25% blurriness. Right, there you go. Check this out. The background is now blurred. If I just turn off that blur, back into focus, turn it back on, the background is blurred again. And that is pretty much all we had to do. So now if we go back to our track V1, where we have another copy of this image, or this clip rather, and we bring that back into focus, the subject now appears from track 1 and the blur in the background is from V2. Now if you play this, there you go, nice little blur in the background, looks great. All right, moving on. Talk about is time remapping. Now, editors often play with the speed and duration of clips to try and tell their story. You could speed up your clip, slow it down, and also, you could introduce some sort of acceleration and deceleration effect in your clip. Now, consider this example. This is a clip of a car that I was driving on pretty much a straight road. with really good scenery, by the way. This, by the way, is Death Valley in Nevada. Uh, I was driving pretty slow. However, you can use Premiere to alter the speed. So right click on the clip, go to speed duration. If you want to make it twice as fast, just specify 200%. It of course shortens the entire duration of the clip. Bear in mind, speed and duration are inversely proportional. So if you tamper with speed, it will affect the duration of your clip. This makes it go twice as fast. Similarly, it goes without saying, if you want to slow it down from 100% go to 50%, it will make the clip twice as fast, and then you go really slow. This, however, is still linear speed. It's still linear speed. What if you want to introduce some acceleration or deceleration? That is something you could do using a speed ramp. We'll talk about that next. Yes, let's now play around with time remapping. We can create what we call speed ramp in Premiere Pro to play more comprehensively with speed and achieve that acceleration, deceleration effect in a clip. This is again the same clip, a car going on a beautiful stretch of straight road. If you want to do a time speed ramp here, if you want to create a speed ramp here in order to do time remapping, what you can do here is, going to Premiere Pro, uh, right click, show clip keyframes, select time remapping, select speed. Now that kind of changes the clip a little bit. You see this white line in the middle, that indicates the speed. So if you kind of hover over that, it will show you a little tooltip which says time remapping speed currently is set to 100%. Now you can create a few keyframes here. So you select the pen tool, go into your clip. Let's say this is the point at which we want to, we want to begin deceleration. So let's say we want to make sure that the clip goes at a faster rate at the beginning and then gradually decelerates. So we create a keyframe here. Beyond this, we will begin the deceleration, let's say. Let me actually also add a keyframe right at the beginning and one at the end. All right. Now let's go back to the selection tool. Let's say we make the first part of the clip faster. So we bring this up, and you can go as high as you want. So let's say I want to make it 250%, right? Speed it up a notch. So okay, let's play this. Let's give this a play here. So it goes at a slightly faster clip and then just slows down. But now obviously this slowdown is happening way too quick. It has to be a little more gradual. So what you can do here is you can just stretch this thing out to create a nice little gradual effect. So let's play this again here. Goes fast and then slows down a little bit. Don't worry about the jitteriness here because it's not rendered. Let's say after it slows down, you want to bring it down further. Can create a nice little slow-mo effect for the last few seconds. You can do that by bringing this line down. That is pretty cool, right? So let's give this another play here. It goes fast and then begins to slow down somewhere around here. Now obviously you could do much more here. This is again a gradual descent, but you could create much more interesting patterns here for how you want to achieve this deceleration. I will not go into much details about that, maybe a separate video altogether, but speed ramps can create very, very good looking production value for you, and it just makes up for a more engaging storytelling medium. Now, one thing I will point out to quickly wrap up this video is that this whole thing that we did here with respect to speed ramps by creating keyframes on the clip itself, of course, you can select this, go into the effects control, and time remapping right here, and you could also create all of these keyframes in here, right? That is something a lot of you might prefer. Guys, I had a haircut appointment, that's why I might look a little different. So for this last tip from my side, it's actually very simple. Premiere Pro is really buggy and it crashes a lot, especially if you're using a computer that does not have very advanced hardware. So initially I faced a lot of problems. My app used to crash, so I would suggest just go into your edit, preferences, autosave, and be very careful with your autosave settings. Try and save it as frequently as possible, and also increase the number of autosave files that you can have on your computer. This is going to really help you out. And I've had so many frustrating experiences where Premiere Pro has crashed and I've not saved my work, and I've had to do things all over again. So bear that in mind. And with this, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope you've liked this video, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this and probably learned a little something. As I continue my learnings and as I continue my journey, I'm gonna try and make sure I put out more content for you guys. So thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and give this video a like as well.